Americans forced to comply by 2020 in obtaining this Real ID. Now, in this video, we're going to cover something others haven't exactly covered. We're going to go into what is this Real ID really for? What is it going to be connected to? And it's sort of ominous. Let's just put it that way. And what is this Real ID? You've probably heard about it. It's been passed by Homeland HR 1268. Allegedly, it's for improved security for driver's licenses and personal cards. Of course, they ask for a lot of information when they get this. And the thing is, they do a facial scan. And by that, I mean a photo that can be used by facial recognition software. This is passed in 2005. Requires you to submit your name, number, address, residency, birth certificate, social security card, and again, they take a photo, which is facial recognition technology-based photos. Now, of course, they tell you, no, we're not going to scan your face. We're not going to scan your face, folks. We're not going to do that. Of course, this is just sort of a little diversion to keep you from understanding what's really going on here. So some states are actually doing the facial recognition off the photo already. Okay? So in reality, what's going on is they take a photo. It's different than the standard photo that they would usually take for your old type of driver's license. This photo is facial recognition based photography to where it's compliant for facial recognition technology, which means they could take that photo and say, oh, we're not going to do anything with this photo, but then pass a bill or something a year or two later saying, oh yeah, we're going to be using your photos for facial recognition. And then all those photos you already took are going to work perfectly with their software. And then what are they going to use this for? That's the question, folks. Of course, they're going to be using this. This is not ironic, because they're going to be using this when you're trying to board planes and when you enter federal buildings. This is sort of the idea behind this. So your face will be in a nationalized database where they could spot you in a crowd using facial recognition technology. All must comply by October 1st, 2020. This is part of a United Nations agenda. United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 16, Part 9, states by 2030 provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. Now, this is all going to tie together, folks. We're talking about some crazy stuff here, all right? Check this out. This is going to get deep. Okay, so basically, your birth certificate is tied into this Real ID. This is part of a United Nations agenda goal. They're already giving sort of an update on this because this is obviously very relevant to them. They're talking about the progress here on their own website. All right, so, but here's the thing, okay? I'm going to show you some very ominous stuff here, okay? This is pretty ominous. Real ID exposed. Actually, let's see if I can get this on the screen correctly so you can actually see it. Okay, so the requirement, we've already talked about this part. The requirements that states collect a digital facial image photograph of all driver's license applicants. Okay, so obviously facial recognition compatible, right? So this was part of it, but they're trying to hide it by stating, no, we're not going to be doing this facial recognition, folks. That's just a bunch of, debunk stuff. No, actually it is not the case. They're taking a photo that is facial recognition compatible, as I already indicated. Okay, so we're going to get onto the next thing here. Now, this gives these guys unprecedented power by allowing the secretary to solely determine for what official purposes citizens must present a Real ID. Now, this is very interesting, the way they worded that. Okay, because I don't think these guys saw how deep this can go. And I'm going to show you right now. Okay, check this out. There's this thing called social credit score that is being entered in worldwide. It started in China. Okay, Apple's implementing this into their own phones, into Apple iTunes, into a lot of stuff. Actually, I can show you that too real quick. Let me show you that. You can see here it says, if you just look at this though first, America isn't far off from China's social credit score. Boom. See, that's what I'm talking about. But actually, Apple social credit score, they have their own system already in place. Okay? Trust score. So Apple, this is very interesting. Apple already moved all their data servers in China to underneath China control. So those guys in control of China can look at all the data of Apple users from China. Okay? China introduced or implemented this social credit score. You want to see what happens when you don't do good with this social credit score? And what is this social credit score? Okay, so let's back this up to here. So you can see it's already coming into America. They're already trying to get this into America. This is somebody who got hit by this social credit score in China. This lady here, she's actually one of the most famous actresses in China. She was in X-Men. She was going to be in a movie with Bruce Willis very soon here. This is how they're doing it. She has the lowest social credit score in China out of all of China's Hollywood folks. Who are, you know, whatever you call those people. The people that have the Hollywood in China, whatever that's called. She has the lowest score. Okay? So what is it? Let me just explain the social credit score. What is it? And then I'm going to get into what happened to her and what's happening to her. And she'll probably be being locked up very soon here. She's going to be locked up very soon here. And she's already been detained for 3 months and just got released. Okay? We're going to talk about what happened to her. But this is what it is. Okay? They apply a credit score to you based on how good of a person you are according to those who are in charge of your country. Okay, so if you're not doing what they like, you're going to get a low credit score, social credit score. We're not talking about credit score or financial credit score. We're talking about, hey, you're not giving enough. You're not doing this right. You're not doing what we like. Like you're not speaking the right way. You don't say the right things. You know, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. So basically, there's some people in China already. They're not able to take their kids to private school. They're not able to fly planes. They're not able to do a lot of stuff because their social credit score is low. So basically, if you're not doing what's approved by those in charge, you're doing things not the right way, you're not doing what they like, your score goes down lower and lower. You can't fly planes. You can't fly in a plane. You can't go here. You can't go there. You can't put your kids in private school. All this kind of stuff, all right? I've seen a number of shows, documentaries and stuff talking about this. This lady disappeared for 3 months. She is a famous actress. She's been in a lot of American movies, okay? This ain't just some Joe Schmo down the street that disappeared. She is like a top celebrity in China. She disappeared for 3 months. 3 months. Nobody knew where she was. Her own PR studio just stopped doing things. They thought she was just gone. Like, she all of a sudden reappeared out of nowhere, okay? I think she was basically taken by those who are in charge of China. Just think of who that might be, you know. And they took her, and she just, they had her, detained her for something. Obviously, it had to do with this low credit score. Now they're saying she has to pay this ridiculous amount of back taxes. It's like $100 million or some ridiculous amount of money. They're claiming she didn't pay her taxes. So now they're saying she's got to pay it by the end of this year. She has like 3 months to chalk up over $100 million in taxes, which she probably doesn't even have that much money, because you don't exactly make that much money when you do videos or movies, even if you're like in the top movies. Even if she was in X-Men, she probably made only a couple million being in X-Men. So where is she going to get this $100 million from? She didn't do 10 X-Men's. I mean, you see what I mean? I don't even know if she would even have this much money. So she has to come up with this money. And here, check this out. Their movie's been canceled. Okay? So even for her to have the ability to get more money, to even pay this bill, I think basically what I'm trying to say, long story short, is they're trying to lock her away, and they're trying to do it in a way to where it would be deemed legitimate by public. What I mean is, they took her and detained her for 3 months, and I think they were going to just make her disappear, but then there was too much public outcry. So they released her and said, hey, look, you got to pay this $100 million ridiculous bill in 3 months. If you don't pay it, you're going to get locked away. Okay? They already know she can't pay the bill. They did that intentionally just so they would have a legitimate reason to lock her away. All of this because she doesn't toe the line and say the right words and do the right things. So that means this is the kind of system they're going to implement also around the world. And it relates to this Real ID, because it's all about locking you in. Who are you? And then from there, putting a score on you. oh, you're that kind of person. We're going to put a low score on you. We're going to take your ability away, your rights, your abilities to do certain things, to speak online, whatever. Lock you in, and then they'll control your fate. That's how they're trying to do it now. So then they'll have ability to control all people. You see how that works? They have your real ID, they have your facial recognition, they have a score attached to you. You can't escape this. It's not like you can take on a new name and then just wear a hat and just run around. They'll still be able to catch you on facial recognition. They'll know who you are. They'll know who you are through your biometrics. And then if they want to say you're not doing the right thing, they give you a low social credit score, then you're not able to do this, that, and the other. So they have full control over your life. You see how that works? That's what's going on. Now, of course, I don't think a lot of people see this. I'm seeing this because I'm connecting all these dots. The Real ID Rush has opened the door also to this. Now, this is another thing. It's not about protecting you. Okay, this Real ID is not about protecting you. It's about honing in on who you are and having all your data and having something connected to you and controlling that. Okay, it's not about protecting you, because look at this. Look at this. They still can do this. They can still make fake versions of this ID. Okay, and what it is, what's going on here is, let me show you. I think you have it down here. Machine readable zone on the Real ID compliant driver's license is not encrypted. So this is not about protecting you. This is about protecting their interests. Okay, you see how that is? So they're able to hone in and lock down on you. Okay, but at the same time, people can still steal identities and stuff. That's what's so funny about it. Because it's not encrypted. So they could just literally take your driver's license and put it on a photocopier machine and then take that little machine readable zone. Okay, so I just think this is kind of, it speaks for itself if you really think about it and look through it. On the surface level, they're trying to say, oh, this is to help protect everybody. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's actually to be able to lock in on you that this is this person exactly, and then be able to attach a social credit score to it. Okay, but it's only a one-way system. It doesn't protect you from someone being able to take your identity. I mean, at least on a temporary level with these licenses. But it's more about just getting your facial recognition and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, in the end, obviously, they would be able to detect, if they wanted to, that this person is not the real deal person, because the MRZ is not, the MRZ doesn't match the facial recognition. You see what I mean? But I just think it's kind of funny. You can just see that it clearly was not about protecting people. That's sort of the point of what I'm trying to get at there. In the end, they could still lock it down on you, because the fact of the matter is they got your facial recognition and they could just know when it's not, you know, if that was really relevant to them. But I think the point is that it's going to come down to something like this. The social credit score. See, Apple moved all, like I said, they moved all their data servers to be under control by those in control of China. Okay, so now they have everybody's data. They have this facial recognition. They got a social credit score attached to you. If they don't like you, they can do like they did with Fan Bingbing here. And of course, then they can the court of public opinion as well. Oh, look, she owed $100 million in back taxes. And this is a way to go after those you don't like. Here's another thing. Let me just point out another reason why they don't like Fan Bingbing. She is friends with the opponent of the guy in charge of China right now. Okay? Let's see. Okay, so she breaks her silence apology, fined $129 million. Disappearance highlights ties between Chinese. Look, this is it right here. This is it. This is probably going to talk about what I'm talking about. Okay, so she was friends with basically the guy who was the main opponent of the guy in charge right now. Okay? Okay, so if you look down through it, it's going to basically say what I said there. So this is a way to go after those you don't like as well. So whoever's in charge will have the keys to all this and be able to control things on a huge level. which of course we know who's the one who really wants to put this in place and what they're really trying to do with all this. Those who like to control everything, right? Yeah. So that's what this is all about, folks. That's what this whole Real ID is actually about. Although it's not very obvious on the surface level, this is what they're really trying to do. They're trying to lock in your facial recognition. Then they're going to tie it into a social credit score, and the social credit score with it will be able to have full control over your life. They can limit what you can do. They can limit your access to things, all that kind of stuff, because you didn't do what they liked. You didn't have a good score. You're not a goodie. You don't follow what we like. You're sort of against our agenda. You know, that's what it is. So that's what they're trying to build for your future. That's their future they want to build. All right. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and thanks for watching. Also, I should mention that Faith is up for bid for mayoral candidate of Toronto, Canada. So if you happen to live in that region, I would recommend you getting out and supporting her tomorrow. It's on the 22nd, and from what I understand, she's had a little difficulty getting the word out about what she's doing. TV and cable basically blocking her, refunding her money so that she couldn't even get a message out to anybody for the most part, other than through her own channel and a couple other channels here on YouTube and, you know, a little bit of other social media. Even with that being said, she's number 3 out of 30. She has quite a backing for a new someone that's newly running for bid of mayor of Toronto. And, you know, honestly, I think if she would have not been stifled by all these things, she might have been number 1 already. And who knows, maybe she still could. So if you do live in that region, I recommend you get out and supporting her. And thanks for watching.